Hello everybody, the Utopian Duelist here, and today I have for you my long-awaited Pendulum Magician deck profile. This went undefeated at a tournament this last Saturday, and I just haven't. I keep going to upload the video for it, and I just keep getting sidetracked. But anyway, let's get into it. All right, first of all, you play, of course, 3 Wisdom Eye. Wisdom Eye is God. It literally lets you tutor out any of your other pendulums into the scales. It's really good. Play 3 Double Iris Magician, because this is what gets you into your pendulum graph spells and traps, which are what run the deck and what keep it from just getting destroyed, because that trap card is godly, man, I swear. Then you play 3 Black Fang. Black Fang, I play 3 Black Fang for the Black Fang OTK. Basically, you just recycle it once off of like Oath Dragon or something like that, and then use all 3, and you end up using it 4 times. Cut your opponent's monster down to what, like fucking 200 at that point. You just run it directly over with like something that you boosted up a bunch with, like Purple Poison, and make it do double battle damage like an Astrograph. You can do like 5k damage if you're lucky. Because double battle damage, oh, what is it? It's double battle damage, and then you get Astrograph boosted by 12, which is 36. Yeah, it's a lot of damage. So yeah, there's that. Then you play 3 Purple Poison, because this is just outs to everything. In the situations, like, even if somebody anti-spells you, all you have to do is, like, set a Purple Poison. Like, if you don't open the trap, just set a Purple Poison. They attack over it next turn, flip, pop. It's like, haha, so much for that floodgate. Next you play 3, Form Palace Skulker by Joker. It's really, really, really good. I enjoy it. I know I said for a long time that I'll only play 2 on the channel, and that's why I only have actually 2 supers. It's because I play Paw of Desires in this build now, because Pendulum Magician just need it to dig for resources for the Pendulum Summon, and plus it just helps unbrick hands sometimes. Like when you do get that very rare Pendulum Magician like Brick Hand, which, because this is a very consistent deck. It's very consistent. That's why I love it. It's just really consistent, really flexible, makes a lot of powerful. Well, it's simple but powerful plays and stuff like that. So, but yeah. So we play 3 of this because it searches literally every card in the fucking deck except for the hand traps. I play 2 Harmon because the ratios are either you run 3 of this and 2 Black Fang, or 3 Black Fang and 2 of this. It's just how it works in the deck. It's one or the other, and I don't like playing through this because I end up drawing it too much. And then if you draw multiples, you can't activate its effect more than once in a turn, so it just, you don't want to draw multiples. It's basically, what I do is I always search, this is always my search target off the time star, that way I always have it in hand for the Pendulum Summon, but I don't have to worry about drawing it, and if I don't draw it off of that, I'll just search like a Black Fang or whatever I need at the time. Then you play 2 Pendulum Sorcerer. Pendulum Sorcerer is basically taking in place of Luster on my last profile. I didn't like playing Luster anymore, and neither does a lot of people, because it just stays in your scale. It's really bricky, and it keeps you from using stuff like Wisdom Eye, because it just stays in your scale if you don't have a way to pop it. So it's just really bad. Plus, this is your Pendulum summoned out into not being able to use Double Iris going first. So you just Pendulum summon this, pop the Double Iris, search the Joker for next turn, and grab the trap and set up your board. That way you can get that if you don't open like Wavering Eyes or something like that. Alright, then you play 2 copies of Astrograph. Astrograph, I only played it 2. Some people are dropping this all together or playing it at 1 just because it can be really cloggy. I dropped it down to 2 just because you never really want to open it in more than 1, because if you draw multiples, then generally you're losing you don't have a lot of resources in your hand, because this doesn't do a lot. This is not a good scale. This is not a good thing to Pendulum Summon. You want it for the special summon to get the ad, and that's pretty much it. And if you can't use it for that, then it's just a dead card in the water and stuff like that. And again, if I need it, I can recycle it with the Kashik Magician, so it's the wrong pile. Alright, Oath Dragon. Oath Dragon is good. I wish I could play it too, but like, it's cloggy. It's really cloggy. Like, I see some builds play it too, and I wanna try and get that to where it's, and like make a build like that, because I would love to play Oath Dragon it too, because you always want to have it in your scales, and after you lose it, you just lose that tiniest bit of advantage. We're having that extra card to Pendulum Summon, that extra scale, or just that extra card every turn. It's just really good. Alright, then we play 1 White Wing Magician, White Wing Magician, most people don't play it because it's really not that relevant. I play it because I actually do end up making Zark and like winning games sometimes because it's a 4K beater that can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects, and pretty much the only way to get around it is attacking over it, and it's 4K. Plus, when it hits the board, it destroys everything your opponent controls, which is just great. It literally, if you can drop it like early, just by like playing this with the Harmonizing Magician like you would the Omega double Omega combo, because I only play one Omega because that's all I really ever use. I make one Omega, hit a card, and then I overlay for the Time Star. And then if you just decide to the graveyard just to sit there instead of a Purple Poison, that's there later, because you're definitely going to go through Purple Poison, Black Fang, and Double Iris. So, and you're just going to have an Acacia, or an Astrograph sitting on board later, and you're going to have, like, them engraved and in hand. You're just going to like, huh, well, shit, I can make a, whatchamacallit, I can make, Zark and win the game. So it's like, okay, that works. But anyway, so yeah, that's really good, instead of just making a Purple Poison, because this is just sitting in your grave at that point. And then, if nothing else, you play, Pot of Desires, so you'll end up banishing it half the time anyway, so it really doesn't matter. It's there in case you need it. That's the big thing. It's better to be, prepared than not prepared. But, anyway, let's get into the hand traps. I played 2 Veilers and 1 Maxi. So, my thoughts behind the Veiler is, first of all, I'm too much of a little bitch to pay for, Ashes, because I don't want to drop, like, $80 on one card. Fuck that. Says the guy who did it for Pepe. Yeah. I learned my lesson there. But, anyway, no, I honestly, I prefer to play these little, like, budget cards over Ash, because then everyone just like, oh, you ashed me, oh, I'm like, but when you drop an effect, they literally, like, look at you and congratulate you, or they call you bad, one of the two, but I like both. But yeah, it basically, the thing with this, you can't hit a spell card, but it's basically the same idea as Ash, because Ash doesn't negate, so you're just going to drop it and negate the effects. This negates its entire effect, though. So, like, stuff like continuous effects and stuff like that are just going to be negated, so it's really good. Then you play the 1 Maxi, just because Maxi is fucking Maxi. Like, why wouldn't you play a Maxi? On the spells, I play 3 Pot of Desirous. A lot of builds play 2. I like to play 3 because I want to see it in my opening hand, just because digging for resources for your Pendulum Summon after you make all your plays is amazing, because you can end up ending boards with hand traps, the trap, you can end with Cosmic Cyclone, you can end with all kinds of stuff that you dug for with Pot of Desires, because banishing 10 cards off the top of your deck isn't shit in this game. And plus, you 90% of the time, you end up banishing the other 2 Pot of Desires off the first Pot of Desires anyway, or it's the third one sitting at the bottom of your deck, so you never end up hitting it anyway. I literally haven't drawn Pot of Desires off of Pot of Desires, and I've been playing this build for, what, a month now? Maybe 2? And it's just really good. I really like it. It's done me a lot of good in tournaments and stuff like that. But yeah, Star Pendulum Graph, I played it too, because you don't want to play more than 2, because it gets cloggy. 2 Wavering Eyes, just because, like, Wavering Eyes is a good card, and it does, like, break your fucking hands in some situations, but you don't want to play 3, because you don't want to open multiples for 1, because multiples is just shit unless you're in the mirror match. So what you do is you play 2 of this, and then side the 3rd, because it's just way easier that way. But yeah, it's just way easier that way. That way, in case you do run into the mirror match, you have some in deck that you can actually run into, because you do end up still running into this, like, a decent amount of the time. About as much of the time as you have drawing any of the other 2 ofs, like Effect Veiler and stuff like that. So, like, if you do run into the mirror match, it's there if you need it, but it's not, like, coming up in your hand every turn. Then you play 2 Cosmic Cyclone. I felt the deck, like, it has the trap, and it has other stuff, like Tornado Dragon, that you can set up, but I just want something that I can have to set just more interference with your opponent's plays, just more interruption, and just spot removal is just good in any deck. If you can play it, because, like, I'll pay 1,000 life points to banish my opponent's reincarnation so they can't use it to res something later. I'll pay 1,000 life points to banish my opponent's field spells. I don't fucking care. Like, I'm gonna beat their ass anyway, like, might as well. And then you play 3 Duelist Alliance. because this searches like Pendulum Sorcerer first turn just to get that into your hand. It searches Double Iris. It searches your Spell and Trap first turn to get those into your hand. So that's just really good. And then you play 2-time Pendulum Graph. This is pretty much staple at this point because you don't want to play 3 because that just gets cloggy as fuck. So yeah, and you never end up banishing it off of Pot of Desire, so it's really good. But yeah, on to the extra deck. You play 2-time Star. Would play 3, but I don't really think I don't, unless it's like one of those really long grindy games, which don't happen very often with this deck. It's usually only against like a stun deck, and that's really fucking good that I go into grindy games against it, or with this deck, so I never really need more than 2. But it's a good card. It's how you do your destroy send combo with the trap, and it's just good. Anyway, Tornado Dragon, just because setting this up first turn to pop your Double Iris, if you don't have the Pen Sorcerer or the Wavering Eyes in hand, then just setting that up, popping your card, getting the trap, and then having the trap and a Tornado Dragon during your opponent's turn, that's a double interruption. And then, if you're lucky, you'll end up with other stuff like hand traps and stuff like that, so that's like double, triple interruption at that point. That's kind of hard to get around for any deck. Then you play 1 Bugu, which is Baguska, if you don't know. Basically, it's lose 1 turn on fucking crack. It's really good. You just drop it in defense, and they really can't do shit until they out it. So if they're lucky, they draw their Regeki, or they make a Link monster to get over it. That's another thing. Akashic Magician is just an easy out for this card. But I'll get to that later. Peripher Mage, Trapeze Magician. This is some of your main deck stop for Trick Stars, because you don't take burn damage as long as it's on field. Plus, it's good for OTKs because you can just make this target something and attack twice. So I usually just like target an Astrograph and attack twice with it, and then it gets destroyed at the end of the turn. But yeah, then I play a Utopia package just because this is outs for any like big monsters that can't be. It's kind of weird, like, if your opponent, it's for those situations where you just need to get over something big, like, if your opponent summons, like, a 4K beater randomly, if you're playing, like, a rogue match, just summon lightning and beat over it, it's fine, I guarantee you, it's fine. On to the Synchros. I play 1 Ignister just because spot removal and in the mirror match, it's fucking godly, and Lightsworns are doing something right now, too, so this is my automatic 1 card out to Lightsworns, because you just bounce their maneuver back, and then you just out the rest of their board in like 3 fucking seconds. As what I'll do is I'll summon Ignister, because Lightsworns, they either, right now they always make a decode, and then, just like pure Lightsworns, I'm not talking about any of those crazy builds at top YCS, but like at the local level, they make a decode, and they put a Minerva under it. So what you'll do is you'll summon this in your link zone, bounce their Minerva, and then you'll summon a Akashic under their decode, bounce their decode, and then they just have a clear board, and you just beat the fuck out of them. It's as simple as that. But then you play the Regeki, the walking fucking Regeki. You summon it and destroys all face-up monsters your opponent controls. And then if it doesn't destroy something, like if they have an Astro in the mirror match, and it chains to the destruction, you just attack into it, and it gets destroyed, and they take the damage. So yeah. Just good for that. Not Trick Stars. Where the fuck did I get Trick Stars? Beals. Beals is a good card to play just for the one random True Draco player or anything similar to Masterpiece that you would have to get over. Plus, if you summon it against Trick Stars, like the battle version of Trick Stars, it's a bitch for them to get over because every time they do burn you, because they say they don't burn, but Trick Stars do burn here and there. It's just how their fucking deck works. That's how the whole mechanic works for their deck. So, like, they can spam, but they're going to burn. So every time they burn you, this gains attack points for the amount of damage that you burn them for. So if they burn you for 1,000, this gains 1,000. If they burn you for 15,572 damage, you gain 15,572 attack points. Don't ask me how that's possible, we're going to go with it. 1 Omega, just because hitting a card out of your opponent's hand is amazing. I just play the double Omega play with Harmonizing just pretty much the exact same way as I explained. Except I make a Time Star in the end, and then I have something sitting in the grave, or the White Wing sitting in the grave for Zark later on in the game. I play the 1 Zark just because how could you not play this? It is a fucking board wipe that's 4K, can't be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects, and it's fucking godly. Like, this has won me so many fucking games, you would not even believe it. Like, the last regionals I was at, this won me, like, 4 fucking games. Like, it's fucking amazing. And this is just good for those situational times where you need to target things. And if you need to bait something out, you can make stuff like Ignister, and they'll hit the Ignister. Just target that one thing that they have on board, they'll hit the Ignister, and then you just make this by contact fusing with 2 Pendulum, 2 Dark Pendulum monsters. Target the Ignister, and then it gains Ignister's effect. And then you can just pretty much out it again, or you can get 2 Ignister effects off if you like use it for if you use Ignister's effect, and then you make a link with it, and then you make this underneath it, you can get 2 Ignister effects off in one turn in the mirror match. That's something I've done to my friends many a time. Then right now it's 2 decodes, but like literally, feel like this needs to be an Akashic. As I said, I cannot find one, and all of my friends that have an Akashic are being, like, they're just sitting, everyone I know with an Akashic, it's just sitting in their fucking mind there, and just like, oh, I'm keeping it because it's gonna be crazy with the guy grinder Golem OTK. I'm just like, nigga, it's sitting there, gathering dust, and I'm offering you cash for it, or trades. Why? It's sitting in your trade binder, and you will not trade or sell it. Like, how? But anyway, yeah, so basically when your opponent summons their Decode Talker, you just drop an Akashic underneath it, it bounces it back. It's good against ABC plays, and any other time where your opponent has a monster pointing toward you and giving you a zone like Decode Talker does, like an extra deck monster zone where you can summon into. You just drop it right there underneath it, bounce that back, and then you can also summon in your zone to recycle stuff like Joker and Astrograph Magician back into your hand, so that's really good. But right now it's 2 decode, because you don't make really links in this deck anyway. You don't need them. I haven't made a decode in like 2 months. But yeah, anyway guys, that's the deck profile. Hope you all enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, you know the rest, guys. See ya.
Yeah, I got the Glock in my robbery, 17 shots, no 38. Yeah, I got the Glock in my robbery, 17 shots, no 38. Yeah, she's fine, wondering where she